talk about professionalism. And as we go along, if you have a question, if you know how to raise your hand on the screen, please do so. Or you can put a question in the chat. So today we're going to cover 3 areas. What is professionalism? What is professionalism? The components of professionalism, and then 12 ways you can develop and practice professionalism. So hopefully that'll be something that will help you along the way. And let's get started. So what is professionalism? Professionalism is the conduct, behavior, and attitude of someone in a work or business environment. Professionalism leads to workplace success, a strong reputation, professional reputation, and a high level of work ethic and excellence. And so you may still not know, even with giving you that information, what is professionalism, but we're going to break that down as we go through this session today. So professionalism, work ethic topped the list of 97.5% of respondents when identifying it as an absolute essential, sorry for my PowerPoint, or essential for new college hires. So the NACE, the National Association of Colleges Employers, did a study, and they said that professionalism was one of the most important things that students could have. And so what are the components of professionalism? Competence, skills, and knowledge, professional image, honesty and integrity, accountability, effective communication, self-regulation, and teamwork. And so we're going to talk about each one of those in detail so that we have a lot of people coming through the weight room, so I'm trying to make sure I admit them. Hello, everyone that's saying hello. Thank you. So let's talk about competence, skill, and knowledge. As it relates to competence, skill, and knowledge, you obtaining your degree or studying and becoming specialized will allow you to obtain that competence, skill, and knowledge. And so hopefully everyone that graduates from the University of Memphis will be competent in their skill and knowledge of their area. Everyone has a specific expertise that they're preparing for. And so when you obtain that degree, that's going to give you that. And so we want to look at those things that are going to take you above and beyond that. Because as you interview and prepare for positions, what's going to set you apart? Your professionalism. Today, we're going to talk about how your professionalism can set you apart from other students. And so the first thing is your professional image. It's more than what you say. So when you look at how people are impressed or make an opinion of you, your words are about 7% of what you say. The tone in which you say it is 38%. And then your image is 55%. And so we want to make sure we combine the tone and how we talk and our image, which will give us about 93%. So that's more, your professional image is given or projected by that, not just the words that come out of your mouth. In addition, relating to your professional image, it is true that it is easier to make a good first impression than to correct a bad one. So there's something called the rule of 12. The first 12 inches from your shoulders up, the first 12 steps a person takes, and the first 12 words a person speaks. So how you look, your presentation, your face, your hair, how you groom yourself, these are all important. How you walk. Are you walking like you're taking care of business, or are you taking your time and you're just kind of like you don't have a care in the world? So you have to be about business, walk like you're about business. I remember when I was in high school, we had a mentor who would come from Exxon and speak to our senior class. And they always talked about how you walk and the professionalism and the business like in which you're going where you're trying to go, as opposed to moseying on like you really don't care about anything. And then the first 12 words you speak. Is it positive? Is it negative? Are you using correct English? These are all important as it reflects and relates to your professional image. So why is this important? People who dress well are treated with more respect. Think about when you go to a store or when you're out and about. If someone walks up to you that's not well groomed, you may have a little caution in your spirit about how you interact or how close you walk to that person. But if someone is in a business suit or dressed professionally, you will probably look at them a little different. So how you dress is important. I know a lot of people say they don't really care what people think about what they have on, but if you're trying to get into a professional setting, if you're trying to make an impression, and because networking is so important, you never know who you're gonna meet and where you're gonna meet them. So you always wanna make a good first impression. The first impression you make with potential employers is an important one. It will give you the competitive edge. So always be professional because you don't know who you're gonna meet. As a matter of fact, if you go to an interview, who you meet at the gate to get it on the campus of the building, the secretary, the maintenance people, all these people are important because you never know when they're gonna come after the interview and say, how did they treat you? How did they speak to you? And believe it or not, they do that. So your body language is important as well. Your body language often reveals more about you than your verbal communication. Be conscious of it because it is always being observed. Good posture displays confidence. Don't slouch, stand up and sit upright. Don't fidget, it's annoying, and it also shows a sign of boredom. And honor others' personal space. Don't get too close to people. Don't walk up on people when you're communicating or interacting with them. And then you need to break nervous habits such as chewing gum, drumming your fingers, twirling your hair, biting your nails. These are all behaviors that are not professional and shouldn't be done in a professional setting. Dale Carnegie in 1936 said, and it still holds true today, that about 15% of one's financial success is due to technical knowledge, and 85%, I'm so sorry about the timing, 85% from skill of human social engineering. So that means how you interact with people is more important than the knowledge that you have. You can be very smart and you can have all the wisdom and knowledge about your skill, but if you don't know how to talk to people, interact with people and communicate, it's not gonna get you very far. So one of the other characteristics of professionalism is honesty and integrity. You need to make sure you keep your words. Can you be trusted to do what you say you're going to do? Never compromise your values. Do the right thing even when it's difficult. Be humble. If a project or a job is outside of your scope, admit it and tell them you need help or that this is not something that you can do. Don't lie and say you can, and then when the work can't get done, then you're trying to hide, and so that you lose integrity and honesty with people. Be accountable, accountability. Be accountable for your thoughts, your words, and your actions, and then own up to mistakes and errors and try to correct them. So if you make a mistake, it's okay to make a mistake as long as you let the important people know and then do what you need to do to try to correct it and working with the team to fix problems. Don't just go and hide it and try to cover it up. Effective communication. A good conversationalist is polite, a good listener, puts others at ease, asks good questions, and never interrupts. So I have a question for you. Are you a good communicator? So I'm going to show you a quick video clip right now. So let me switch my share. Give me just a moment to get my video loaded.
like my girlfriend always says, communication is the key to any healthy relationship. At least I think that's what she says. Anyway, this is equally true in a business relationship. Whether it's by phone, email, or text, remember, this one is going to a coworker and not a college buddy.
So a lot of jobs nowadays, whether it be their IM systems or their emails, have emoticons and emojis already kind of built in. So steering clear of those, not using too many exclamation marks in your emails, everything shouldn't be an excited utterance.
If you write something in an email, it can easily be misconstrued. The tone all of a sudden where you were just nonchalant, but they think you're angry. That is going to perhaps ruin a relationship, and you don't want to do that. I've had that happen before, so it's easier to talk to somebody face to face.
Emails are public documents. Your emails can be seen by everyone in the world. Be very careful. Think before you hit send.
Make sure you personalize your own voicemail and don't just have your phone number up there. That way people that are calling you know who they're calling. And when you're leaving a voicemail, make sure you state your name and your reason for calling. It's polite to give someone a heads up before you put them on speakerphone, especially if there are other people in the room.
When someone emails you, make sure you get back to them. It's important to treat others the way that you would want to be treated. And so the expectation is that you'll be quick, that you'll be fast, that you'll get back to people in a timely manner, and that you'll be responsive.
Within every office, you may find that guy. That guy has earned a reputation for gossiping, eating smelly lunches at their desk, and hovering over yours for extended periods of time. Basically, that guy makes for a very uncomfortable work environment. Don't be that guy.
So the overshare in the office happens often. It's always TMI. Hearing too much about someone's boyfriend, hearing too much about your pets or your vacation. So not going overboard and really finding that fine line and not crossing it as well. Also not gathering or trying to pull too much information out of someone that's a very private person.
The big two, politics and religion, are still considered sensitive topics, so be mindful of that, as well as your language and any jokes you may want to tell. You never want to interrupt someone on the phone or sit down unless invited. And if you're approached while on the phone, give some nonverbal cues to let them know you'll be with them in a minute. Being busy is no excuse for completely ignoring someone.
In this day of cell phones and everything, you have to be very conscious of your conversations that can be overheard by everybody. A lot of workspace is now very public, and there's nothing more annoying when in open air you're hearing people either, rehash the night before with their friends or fight with their significant other. It's a very uncomfortable situation. It does not belong in the workplace.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you some more perspective on how you're supposed to communicate in the workplace. And we're just going to kind of summarize that really quickly on communication. So make sure you check your emails and you make sure they're professional. Don't use a lot of emojis. The telephone and the cell phone, you heard what they said about that, making sure you have your name on your cell phone and voice messages at work. Response rate, respond to people when they email you. And then don't be that guy or girl. I know he said that guy, but the girl can be that same way. Don't overshare. Don't give too much personal information about yourself at work. Don't overprobe. Don't ask people too much of their personal business. And then when you enter someone's office, make sure you get approval before you sit down and just start talking, or even when someone's wanting to see you, acknowledge when you'll be able to see them. So another thing about effective communication, there's some things you don't want to do. So I have a little clip here, and I think it's embedded. Hopefully it will show fine. Let's see.
Did you return my blue jacket?
Yes. And after a very intense conversation with their saleswoman that ended with both of us in tears, I got you a full refund.
I want it back.
Absolutely.
This computer isn't taking my password.
Oh, no, do that. It's my laptop.
Well, bring me my laptop.
Did you return my blue jacket?
And so when we think about that, you don't want to have that kind of behavior at work where you're just rude, you're just talking over people, taking advantage of people. And so you want to make sure you're not swearing, you're not loud, you're not having obnoxious behavior, you don't have cruel comments or topics. Avoid subjects like the health, people's health, your health, gossip, your love life, politics, religion, race, and inappropriate stories or jokes. These are all not professional in a work setting. So the other thing is self-regulation. When you are at work or interacting with your family and friends, you have to learn how to stay professional under pressure. You may deal with the irate customer. You want to make sure you're calm instead of getting upset or angry. Stay businesslike, stay professional, and try to make the situation right. When you have unprofessional coworkers, don't be the way that they are. Learn to exhibit a high level of emotional intelligence by considering the needs of others. So if you're not familiar with emotional intelligence, I challenge you to Google that. There's quick assessments you can take, and it will show you so many things, not only about yourself, but how you can interact with others. But when you have a bad day, you're not supposed to let it interfere with how you interact with your colleagues or with your clients. I don't care if you're mad at your husband, sister, brother, boyfriend, whatever, you're not supposed to take that to work. And if you're mad at one person, don't take it out on everyone else. And that also relates back to your emotional intelligence. So also teamwork is very important. When you work on a team, just like you've worked on teams possibly in college, you want to look out for each other. You want to find ways to work together to accomplish your goals, respect each other, do the right thing, do what you say you're going to do, be reliable and dependable. And here are 12 ways that you can develop and practice professionalism. The first one is to be productive. When you're productive, you want to use your time wisely and focus on your job responsibilities and avoid getting sucked and pulled into social media, web browsing, and then phone activities while you're on the clock. Develop a professional image. The way you dress, the way you talk, the way you interact, and your tone will be very important as you work. Take the initiative. Sometimes ask for more projects and think of assignments that you can do to improve the work environment. Maintain effective work habits. Plan and prioritize your work. Follow up. Be on time with being to work and be on time for completing your projects. Demonstrate ethical behavior. Always have integrity and tell the truth and do what's right. Work with excellence. Try to produce work and results that reflect a sense of pride and professionalism. Always try to exceed expectations. Number 8, be a problem solver. When you run into a problem, an obstacle, take the time to brainstorm a few solutions and alternatives before you meet with your supervisor. So supervisors love when you come in with options to solve a problem. Number 9, be resilient. Develop coping skills to manage setbacks and challenges with a positive and constructive attitude. Number 10, communicate effectively. Practice professional communications online, in person, and interpersonal communication skills. Number 11, develop self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Learn to manage your emotions and gain awareness of your emotions and those triggers that could cause you to down spiral. Manage your reactions positively and productively. Accept and reflect on feedback to assist as you learn and grow. So even if your manager tells you to do something different, don't get mad and angry. Look at how you can learn and grow. And then lastly, build relationships. You need to learn how to network with your colleagues and customers and clients to build cordial relationships and work on teams and work collaboratively together. So I know there was a lot in a short amount of time, but hopefully you now are aware of what professionalism is and you can make an appointment with your career specialist at the University of Memphis, and we can continue to help you develop and show you things you can do to continue to develop. So Caitlin, I'm going to turn it back to you. Well, actually, before that, if anyone has any questions, I'll take questions at this time. Did I do such a great job that you all don't have any questions? Did you learn anything? Go ahead.
I learned something. I don't have any questions.
Say that again.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. I feel like I learned some things, but I also have questions like the pandemic, I feel like has made appearances hard to maintain at times. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on facial hair, because and just, I guess, not just facial hair, but just ungroomed hair on top and stuff like that, or groomed, but not, I can't go and get my hair cut as frequently, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, just try to be as neat as you can and be as groomed as you can. I mean, as long as you're not looking like a caveman, I think you'll be okay. I think everyone is dealing with the pandemic challenge and trying to figure out the best way to maintain. So I think as long as you are trying and not just waking up out the bed with your hair all over your head, I think you'll be okay.
And my next, I have one more question, and then I'll let somebody else ask anything. How is it viewed when we use like our profile picture, like I currently have in a Zoom, versus having live feed? Like, is that bad, good, neutral? Like,
I am so glad you asked that question. And I'm gonna challenge everyone while we're on this session. Here's the thing about, depending on what you're doing, if you are, so there's nothing wrong with your picture, but if you are trying to network, if you're trying to make an impression, like I see Savanda and Mandy, and if I see them again, I'm gonna remember them. When you're networking and trying to make an impression, when you go to these events that we have on campus, turn your camera on, be presentable, be ready to network. And that's nothing against anyone here, but as far as the workplace, somebody asked about the workplace, but do you think the workplace would change its views towards tattoos? Oh, okay, let me finish this question first, Lynn. So I challenge you, I'm gonna challenge everybody right now to turn your cameras on. If you're presentable, turn your camera on so that I can put a visual if you're presentable. And even if you're not, because you didn't know you were gonna have to turn your camera on, it's okay. And plus, if you're okay with it, I would love to take a group picture of everyone today. If you learned something, hi Marissa, hi Mackenzie and Caitlin. If you learned something today, tell me what you learned and what was most impactful for you today. And while I wait for you to type that, so someone said, will they change your view towards tattoos? I can't answer that. You know, everybody's different. All I recommend is that when you do your tattoos, they're not above your neck. And so that when you wear your professional attire, they still can't see it, if at all possible. So that, because you don't know what kind of manager you'll end up with, depending on what kind of job you'll get. Thank you, Layla, for that. Any other questions? Come on, give me some questions. Tell me what you learned. Refresher on the email. Thank you, Jonathan. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna go by groups because I can't put everyone on my screen. I'm gonna do groups at a time. I'm on page 1. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take a group picture so you all can be put on my LinkedIn, my U of M Tigers getting ready for professional etiquette. Thank you, Lynn. Any other questions? Come on, y'all. I know y'all have a question. No other questions?
How long is an appropriate amount of time when you receive or like you sent an email and someone has failed to follow up with that email? What's the appropriate social protocol for, like, because I'll send an email and if I don't hear back in a few days, I'm wondering what's the time frame to respond? Well,
it depends on if it's just a work-related issue or if you're trying to respond about a job or an application or something like that. So if it's just a work-related issue and what you're working on is time sensitive, I would say give them a day or two. If it's a job opportunity, then you may want to give them about 4 or 5 days before you don't want to just email them every day. So if it's a work-related issue and you're trying to get a project done, you can email them the next day. But if it's about a job or application or a networking opportunity, you may want to kind of give them a week. Okay, anybody else before we go? Thank you all that did turn your cameras on. Don't forget when you leave here, go to your back to the main session so you can get the final information. Thank you, Mandy. Amazing presentation. Thank you.
Dr. Meeks, thank you again so much for taking out the time to present to our students and share this great information. I even took a couple of notes myself.
Okay, great, great. Well, let me know if you need me again. And thank you, students. Great job. So proud of you all. Keep it up. Keep attending these professional events.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.